when I'm getting to the bag, ayy. Got the foot on the gas, pedal to the metal when the lane moving fast, ayy. Let them all cross. If they hate, then let them hate and make a bigger boss, ayy.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Podcast, the top podcast in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines. But most importantly, you guys provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And I say that before every single show. And what I mean by that is I only speak with transportation professionals, because at the end of the day, you guys, I want to talk to the right individuals who have done what you're looking to do, or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve, so you can take that information, apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. Happy Wednesday, everybody. I got a very special guest for you guys here today. And what they tackle out there is like just top of mind for every organization out there. This is the most attention I've seen this get up in Washington, D.C. and on Capitol Hill and everything. And we're going to be talking about this specifically in regards to freight theft around the holidays and kind of these strategies that you guys can apply before we get up into the holiday break. So I have Mr. Michael Caney on the show today. Michael, thank you so much for taking the time to join me.
Oh man, thank you. What are you talking about? Finally, I get to be on the Freight Coach Podcast.
Dude, it's been a while, man. And I'm looking forward to it, right? Like, you guys have been on the scene. I mean, you've been on the scene in logistics for a long time, right? Like you've been around, you
hot minute.
Yeah. You've packaged up a career and then now tailored it onto the tech side, the freight theft, identity and all of that side, and really parlaying that into building up, which I would argue is the biggest product out there in the industry right now that's really tackling a lot of this.
Yeah, man, it's been a fun career. I fell in love with freight brokerage early. There was a time in my career where I did not want to be a freight broker anymore, because I really wanted to help freight brokers, and I consulted, and like you have too, right? And I love the industry, and I always wanted a way to be able to help, our friends and make freight brokers better and make it, I love it. It's given me so much. And I didn't think this would be the way to do it, but it's been like the best thing that's ever happened to me. It's been so great.
Dude, it's been one of those things, and we were talking about this last month when we were with Mark Groves, but like the evolution of how this has come over the last 5 to even 7 years has been, it's been at a kind of like at an alarmingly high rate. Like, I'm not ever going to sit here and say like at one day double brokering was fine, but like, dude, back in the day, man, like I never saw what I see now, right? Like, they were at least paying the carriers that were doing the work. And now it's just seemingly overtly changed into an all-out theft ring. Like, it's highly, highly organized now at levels that I've never seen in my life before.
Yeah. I mean, I talk about this a lot. I long for the days of like vanilla double brokering that just pissed you off.
Yeah.
Because really what it meant was you probably had some risk exposure, because if there was a claim, you don't know the underlying motor carrier. And what you were really pissed off about is that you gave margin away.
Yeah.
Because if that cat had the ability to like pay somebody else and make money, like that's what you were really the most pissed off about. It was that you got beat at your own game. I mean, let's be honest. We didn't like getting beat at our own game. Like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to find the carrier. This guy did it. And so, but now, I'm so excited to talk to you. I love that you have an American flag behind you. What everyone needs to know is that these crimes are not being perpetrated by American operators.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is a full-scale foreign attack. And this is not me, Chris, with my tinfoil hat on.
Yeah.
This is the data. Like, the data would tell you. And you can ask people that are not highway. You can ask Dale Prax. You can ask anyone else. This is a full-scale foreign attack on the American supply chain. The criminals perpetrating these crimes, ruining the good reputation of legitimate carriers.
Mm-hmm.
They're all outside of the United States.
Yeah, I was just talking about this on the show last week. I truly feel, and I truly feel like this is why the current administration is tackling at a level I've never seen before. Is I would equate this to a matter of national security at this point.
I would agree with that.
Like I enjoy history just as much as the next guy, but if you study any empire takeovers that have ever happened in the past, cut off the supply chain. They get in the
I know exactly. Like, so I live in Chattanooga. You've been here, and like one of the pivotal things in the Civil War here was like Kelly's Ferry Landing and like the supply lines. I literally had coffee with our friend Dale Prax this morning. Great patriot, veteran, knows more about the regulatory side of this than I do. And we were actually talking about this. We were talking about Napoleon and like all of like wars are won and lost on supply chain.
Mm-hmm.
Then we've essentially allowed anti-American foreign actors to infiltrate, control, and steal goods in our supply chain. You should be terrified if you're an American.
Yeah.
Because you're absolutely right, Chris. Like, I would now say that this is more than just multi-billion-dollar cargo theft problem. It should be a national security issue because the threat is really unknown, Chris. That's the reality. Mm-hmm. It's really unknown. Like, there's a lot of people that have a lot of control over a lot of equipment around the motoring public that don't care about safety.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, there is a lot of question marks around the real nature of the threat.
Yeah. And I've, I was just, so yesterday, I broke down some headlines on some articles that I had read, and, from my perspective now, cause back in, it was in August when that horrific crash happened in Florida, that really started to gain national media attention out there. And then when we were talking about that a little in depth, and then the CDL schools started to come to light, and, and you guys might actually have access to this data. I would argue that at this point, it's the same handful of insurance companies that are knowingly insuring these guys, Michael, that have 7 different businesses under one address out there, and they're knowingly insuring these guys. And it's all, I guarantee it's all in the exact same sphere of influence.
Yeah. I mean, there are things that we're working on that we don't talk about because you're correct. But here's what I would say. There is a strong correlation among insurance agents, factors, and even ELDs. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so, when you think about the 5 most important parties to a modern freight transaction, you got the broker, you got the carrier, you got an ELD provider, you got an insurance agent, you got a factor. And in my opinion, the most egregious enablers of freight crimes are insurance agencies and factors.
Okay.
Because a small carrier can't operate without a factor, and they can't get into anyone's system without at least some kind of insurance certificate. And right now, when a load gets stolen, factor has no accountability. They don't care. Mm-hmm. Insurance agent, they don't, they're going to deny the claim, like whatever. Like it doesn't matter. They're writing premium, and there's no accountability. There's zero accountability. And so that is absolutely something that we're evaluating. You've got to collect that data and build it in mass before you can just take a lot of action. For sure. But that's where I would love to see the government stay. I'd love to see them stay out of the private sector. But there is a certain amount of regulation that's appropriate. Mm-hmm. Oh, and you and I are freight brokers, right? So we're going to share this bias. What I'm really tired of is the freight broker bearing all of the risk.
Yeah, dude, and because like in regards to that, there's a lot of, I don't know if enough people read the fine print of their contracts, even with their shippers. And like, there's a lot, they're not, I don't want to say a lot, but like there are shippers out there who remove themselves from any and all liability as soon as 100%. The last pallet is loaded onto that trailer. And then, again, if you go through and you book that truck, heaven forbid something happens, they have a ghost chameleon carrier insurance, their insurance company is going to deny that right away. And then you're going to be faced with a very difficult decision. Your customer is going to look at you and say, hey, Chris, that shipment was $100,000. Your insurance company might deny that claim as well. And you're going to have to make that. Do I cut a 6-figure check to the shipper? Because if I don't, they're going to cut me off and I'm done. Depending on how much margin you move with them throughout the year, you might have to make that decision. And again, it boils down to simple processes that a lot of people overlook in the load booking process, Michael, to just make a buck. And again, I get
100%. 100%. And you have a great partner in your agency world. They do a great job. very financially responsible company, SPI. We love those guys. They were very early with us. And, one of the things that, we can point fingers all day long at the government and factors and interest, and it's fun conversation. What I love about your voice in this business is you are one of the people that's constantly telling the broker to take responsibility for what they should be able to take responsibility for. And like one of the things you just mentioned, like there are shipper contracts that ask a freight broker to indemnify the shipper against their own negligence. That's like illegal in some states, right? And so what you have shippers that have just said, wait a minute. So there's all these freight brokers want business. We can pay them in 120 days. We can pass on all the risk. And like the plaintiff attorneys will just sue them for negligent hiring and not us. This is awesome. I can be a shipper and like wipe my hands clean and pass all this on to the freight broker. And like that to me is very problematic. Like I don't like, how is it that like the government issues a CD? Like, so first of all, there's these CDL mills. That's a whole different conversation.
Yes.
Right. They're turning out drivers in a week at a time. The government is saying either they're non-rated or satisfactory. And then somehow it's the broker's fault for hiring a carrier that multiple entities put in business. So someone insured them, someone factored them, someone gave them a license, someone gave them authority. And yet somehow we want to say, well, it's the broker's responsibility to then vet all of that once like 5 people said this is a good carrier. That's pretty gross, man.
Yeah, it's gotten to that point now where it's like my fear is into this next market iteration that's going, and that's why like my bold prediction on a lot of this stuff, Michael, is it's going to get worse before it gets better. Is because as capacity tightens up, as rates start to raise, brokers are going to potentially peel back their requirements to get set up with them. And that's going to open up another wave here of double brokering, chameleon carriers, all of that stuff. Because again, it's going to be like, hey, I have this truck and it's going to be, potentially a ghost truck or something. And brokers are going to have their backs against their wall because, like, let's be honest, man, most brokers' relationships with their customers are as fragile as a piece of paper in the middle of the ocean. Like they are going to rip apart at any moment with that next wave. And I just hope, and this is why I always focus on the fundamentals, because that's the thing that I have seen throughout every market shift, throughout the 15 years that I've been actively moving freight, Michael. That's the stuff that has worked repeatedly.
Preach, bro. Preach. I mean, I think, one of the things that I try to talk about with like my CS group and with our customers is what we are trying to do is the heavy lifting of compliance, fraud, so that we can restore brokers back to fundamentals, like building a carrier base, having relationships. We talk about 3 things that we try to do at Highway. And one is you reduce total surface area of risk. We try to make our brokers the hardest target. We split the world into good guys and bad guys. So the flip side of reducing surface area of risk is now you give the broker customer a focus area. Hey, these are the carriers you can call. And then we're going to further break that down. But hey, here's your really good high value carriers. Here's your refrigerated carriers. Hey, here's your carriers that do not have cargo exclusions for copper. Like call them for your copper. Let's say here's all your excluded commodities in this policy. And so we really try to help a broker get back to being a freight broker, which is what you've always preached. Which is you cannot just be a post and pray broker anymore.
Yeah.
And what I hope, I think you're right. I think the world could kind of elongate and split into 2. Shippers that want to keep pressing rates down and brokers that are willing to take on inappropriate amount of risk to get that freight. And then I think you're going to have other brokers that are going to find relationships with shippers where they get eye to eye and they go, hey, maybe this annual bid where we just reprice everything isn't a great idea. Right. I mean, we're helping some of our largest customers use our data to go to their shippers because we don't sell to shippers and say, look, here's kind of the fleet breakdown. Like if you called me today with a bid and said, hey, I help me understand like the carriers that could actually move this. I could help you go to that customer and say, look, it's not 155,000. It's not even 50,000. There's 25,000 fleets in North America that can move your freight based on the origin destination pair, based on the characteristics of your cargo. Like it's 25,000 fleets. Based on what you and I have agreed on is appropriate. That changes the pricing conversation between you and your shipper.
Yeah.
Right, Chris? Like, because now you're saying, like, if you want to hold me accountable, this is what it's going to cost. Because this is really what I'm buying against. And this is what you're competing for. Because the rest of these guys, we don't know them. Like, they don't have any history. They've got cut rate insurance. They've got a fly-by-night ELD. Like, this is not who you want picking up your Lego loads at Target around the holidays. Like, you don't want to load this guy. And so I think that's where shippers can get away over fighting for a nickel. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with that. And, and I obviously talking to a lot of drivers and carriers out there. And again, I'm not a carrier, but like with where things are in the industry right now, and I understand the annoyance factor that comes along of like proving your identity, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're a business, especially when you're a small business, like I've gone through this, like I had to get set up on a payments platform and I have been asked more questions. I had to prove me being a business more in that than I had ever thought out there. But again, annoying, yes, but like I understand that the carriers who are doing it right, and this is the message that I want to have to those drivers out here. If you're out there and you're following the law and you're doing everything right, this next market is going to be potentially the most fruitful market you have ever experienced out there, because the current administration is going to continue to crack down on this. I do not see this going away.
100%.
And yeah, a couple of extra verification steps might be annoying at the beginning. And I understand that. But once you're through that and you can show, hey, I'm this carrier, I don't have a copper exclusion on my insurance policy. This is who I am. You're going to be able to charge a premium coming up, because I truly see this trending in that direction, Michael, that there is going to be a potential large capacity crunch. I don't know when. I'm not going to be bold and say by June of next year, but I don't see this going away. So I feel like those true companies who are doing it the right way, the faster you can prove the validity of your business. Again, I understand the annoyance behind it. You are going to, I truly feel, have a very fruitful next couple of years in your business.
100%. And to the point, we actually want to work toward making that a reality.
Mm-hmm.
So the other side of freight fraud, like I said, is focus. So you're absolutely right. Sometimes in the very beginning, it can be annoying. But once you're established, if you maintain your business appropriately, like the average onboard time for a good carrier, hey, I come in today and I'm onboard with C.H. Robinson, and I'm going to come in tomorrow and onboard with SPI, and I'm going to come in the next day and onboard with Axle or Echo. The average time for a carrier to authenticate and connect with a broker that's already in highway, 28 seconds. It's 28 seconds. The annoyance comes in. You let some dispatcher log in from somewhere else. You use a duplicate Gmail. You have people in your company that are doing strange things. You're disconnecting, reconnecting ELDs. You're not running your business well. Like you've got to, brokers have to run their business well. You preach this all the time. Motor carriers have to run their business well. They can't just say, I'm a good guy, I've been doing this for a long time, you should trust me. I would love if that were the case. And 15 years ago, you could do business that way. You and I did business that way. You know what I mean? When you were, running branches out at XPO, like you could do it.
Yeah.
Especially you did a lot of open deck stuff. Like it was easier, right? Like you knew the guy. But now somebody could be impersonating you.
And I think that's the thing, right? Like, again, it's like, I look at it, it takes and this is the things that you learn when you start your own business, right? Like there's a big difference between business credit and personal credit. And it takes a lot longer to build up your business credit out there, whether it's on the financial side or your reputation in the market as a trusted provider when it boils down to it.
And you know this as a business owner. When you don't have business credit, they make you sign up to be the personal guarantor.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And you are the personal guarantor for probably the first couple of loans until your business has and that's the thing, man. Those are those things that you learn about as you're going on out there. And that's why I run such a clean ship. Like I've talked about this when it comes down to a lot of this on the show in the past, Michael. I'm like, the feds could kick my door down right now and say, prove you're a real business. I would be annoyed, but I have everything saved. I have clean documents. I'm running a clean operation. And I feel like
you're willing to go, yeah, man, here's all my stuff. Come on.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking.
It's like, if you change your address, you better update it with the feds. You better update it on your W-9. You better do all of that. Take that time and then make sure every business, again, if I moved offices, I went to my bank right away. Hey, FYI, here's my new address. All of this stuff, it's annoying, but you have to do it, because if you don't, it's going to cost you business potentially.
Yeah. No one everyone needs to stop crying victim.
I agree with that.
Brokers, carriers, everybody. So going back to your original point about how carriers can be profitable, you have been incredibly consistent in saying you have to vet this carrier, you have to be consistent in your policy. Like you have coached so many brokers, and you're very consistent in your coaching. What we try to do is say, can we make that easier for you? Like when you run a search, we just want to show you the carriers you should talk to, so you don't have to ask 20 questions. You only have to ask 3, because we want to surface those carriers that make the most sense for you. If you're booking a load in TFX, like not every carrier can see every load. Mm-hmm. So if in your agency, like you're running a bunch of high-end open deck stuff, there's carriers we're not even going to let search for it, Chris. We're not even going to let them see it because they don't need to see it. You know what I'm saying? So that anybody that sees your freight, like they're going to be able to make an offer and book it. And so if you're a good carrier, we're going to work really hard to put you in front of brokers that pay their bills on time, that have the freight you want, to cut down on all the searching. I mean, look, I have that experience on Instagram. Like they know exactly what I want to buy. And so I buy shit on Instagram all the time.
Yeah.
Right. Like this is not new, Chris. Like we do this in commerce every day. Yeah. And so if you're a good carrier and you're up to date, we're going to show you the freight you want.
And I also look at it like this, Michael, and especially right now around the holidays and, the market being what it is, this is how carriers are going to get access to that gravy freight that they all desire, right? Like we strive to have 85% of our freight booked on the same handful of carriers from my brokerage. We work on that. We found them, and that's where we stay. And again, because that's like ultimately when it boils down to it, when you have that legitimate carrier, it's the only way that you're ever going to fight 99% of the garbage out there, because it's like you've built that ecosystem of reliability between the two, right? We're paying them on time. The freight's good. When they show up, they get loaded, they get offloaded, all of that stuff. They want to continue to work with you. But again, I look at it is when you're out there and you're a carrier, all of that consistent business that you're searching for is running right now. You just have not been working with a broker, the right broker. I'll say that, the right broker long enough to get access to that. And when you get access to that, and then again, if you're out there, you have high value insurance, the amount of quality freight that never makes it to a load board or never makes it outside of the first phone call to your core carrier is, I think a lot of carriers might look a little bit differently at how like the requirements from a broker. But again, brokers got to understand that trust goes both ways. Like when we are working with a carrier, I'm not calling my driver 87 times. I'm not wearing them out about stuff. I trust the fact that when they tell me I'm getting offloaded at this time, they let 100%. Me know, they follow that process. That goes both ways, where I'm not wearing them out. And then again, I'm not nickel and diming them. Like nothing boils my blood more than when I see carriers out there complaining because a driver they got detention withheld from them or a layover withheld from them, because I know damn well that broker got that from that shipper. There's no way that they didn't request it.
I mean, the worst is like when you see these rate confirmations that like with like all these deductions. It's like, man, you please stop being a broker. You're not a real freight broker. I don't know what you are, but like, this is not how any of us that have done this for a long time built a business, and I just think it's incredibly, you bring up a really good point. There's so much, nobody wants to track every single load, Chris. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to pay $2-3 for a blue dot on every single load. Like you want to manage exceptions. Like no shipper wants to know where every single load is. They want to trust that you're going to be on time and that you're going to manage exceptions and you're going to help them move things around and keep their docks running and take care of the problem and repower the load. Like, I mean, when you have a good relationship with shippers, it's not, hey, we don't want any problems. It's like, can you solve the problem? When the truck breaks down, like, can you solve the problem? Can you bring more product in behind that? You make another really good point. I know that, we sound like probably the old guys that like carried our sister on our back in the snow. But when we started booking freight, you got made fun of if you posted a load.
Correct.
Like you ain't got a reg, man. Like you got made fun of for posting loads.
Correct.
Like you got called an amateur. Like brokerage floors, they made fun of you for posting freight because it meant you weren't a good broker. Mm-hmm. When did that become the first thing we do?
I would probably argue it was post-COVID when it was a absolute free-for-all of
Okay.
a lot of stuff, man. I would argue that because like a lot of the guys that I know that have been doing it as long as we have,
That's when you
Michael,
started your coaching business, right? Like
yeah,
kind of around that
I
time.
did. Yeah, it was right in 2020 is when I started that and then started doing all the media work. And I've since moonlighted the coaching stuff because I'm too busy booking real freight out there now. But it's like that was that time that I saw that it was the Wild West, man. It was like, we just need trucks, get us anything and everything. And I think people leaned in more towards that. But again, people are creatures of habit and they will always go to the path of least resistance. And it's really hard to teach somebody to work harder when they could just post every single time.
And they made a lot of money doing it.
Correct. And that's the thing. When
Like-
you're looking at it and you're making a lot of margin, it's kind of tough to convince somebody, no, only make outbound phone calls.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's the other thing I think that scares me a little bit is that somehow we think robots are going to make those phone calls and make it better. And I'm not sure that's really the answer either, Chris.
I think that's, and again, I'm not against any AI companies that are out there at all. I'm a capitalist. I love the free market. People need to do their thing. Like, I look at it from a practical application standpoint in a rollout. I'm like, I could see people searching strictly for the companies that market that we use AI carrier reps or AI sales reps out there, because if they can remove that human, because again, it's that gut feeling, man. When you're talking to somebody and you've been doing this long enough and you're like, this guy's full of shit. Like, you can tell instantly that might fall over on some of this stuff. And again, I feel like, and we were talking about this on the last show that we were on, Michael, is I would love to see the data behind digital bookings and fraud and theft. I would love to see when there is no phone call that actually happens and they book it via email or they book it via a portal and there's no.
That is the vector. So the emerging vector is they want to get outside of your onboarding and they want to get in your inbox or in your phone system.
Yeah.
So that's why we had to build a Rate-Con delivery product, because it gates the user. So even if the carrier's inbox is compromised or the broker's inbox, they can't get the rate agreement without authenticating. And because that is the emerging vector, right? And so now you've got bad actors using AI to call and impersonate brokers to the carrier and redirect the shipment. So they've warehoused all this data. Like they've crawled and scraped the load boards for years. They know which broker posts which freight. They know where Coca-Cola comes from. They know where Legos come from. They know which contract warehouse provider has which client. Like, they know all of this stuff. It's not like they woke up today and they were like, what are we going to steal? Like, they woke up today and they know what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And you make a really good point. The best freight has never moved on a load board.
Mm-hmm.
It just hasn't.
I think it's going to continue like that too. And especially around the holidays, like I can't believe that there are people out there who post commodities in their postings, but I see it all the time. That's like, I think the lowest of low hanging fruit. If you're a broker and you're doing that, remove that commodity immediately from your posting.
I'll tell you what's even scarier, brother, is freight brokers that don't know what they're moving.
That too.
we'll look in the load lock product and we'll alert a broker that they're picking up from a facility that ships a certain thing, and they've selected a carrier that has an exclusion for that, and they didn't know that that's what was on the truck. That's what was coming out of the facility. It's FAK. Like it really blows me away, man.
I had a buddy of mine who, it's a pending lawsuit, so I'm going to be very vague on the details, but needless to say, there was a very large shipper who was very well known across the United States of America who was knowingly loading high value cargo in their trucks without telling the transportation provider what was inside the actual truck. It was like $500,000 cargo value, and they were telling the broker it was $100,000 FAK. Unfortunately, one of those trucks got stolen, and that's how this uncovered it. So it's like a massive lawsuit that's happening out there. So again, I feel like it's happening from every angle, Michael. It's not just one actor anymore. It is, people are peeling back the layers and infiltrating in any way they can.
And the person that wants to abdicate all of their responsibility is the BCO, is the shipper.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's at some point in time, I don't know when, like a shipper thought that somehow what you just described was safe. Well, we just won't tell them. No, you're shipping out of there all day long. People know that this is a GameStop load. They know it's a Lego load. They know it's a load of almonds. They know what it is. You not telling the broker doesn't mean that your facility's not being targeted. It's completely misguided. The obfuscation of the cargo, right? It's a completely misguided strategy, and it's actually cost shippers more than they realize by doing that.
No, I agree. And I think all it took was this one provider who said yes, like, oh, don't worry about it. Probably some rogue cowboy sales rep who was like, oh, we'll be fine. We won't. There's somebody was at some point they figured out they could get away with it, and then they continued to go with it, and then nobody brought it to their attention. Or again, brokers, this is why you got to ask every single time, what am I picking up? What's the cargo value? Like, unless it is a RFP style shipper who says every single shipment is bottled water, every single shipment is worth $50,000. There's a difference there, but that's the minority of freight that moves. Is that cut and dry? Like, commodities change, products change, load values change on a shipment by shipment basis, and you need to be in front of this. You need to be asking your customers this because, like, again, you got to protect your business. Hard stop. I hate to break this to you. If you're the owner of your company, it's on your shoulders. No matter what.
Yeah, you have to own the outcome. Extreme ownership. Go read Jocko Willink's book. You are responsible. You are responsible for the choices you make, and that's probably a great place to stop. Is like, if you're a freight broker, there are a lot of people that'll give you tools. You have to take responsibility. Full stop.
No, I agree, Michael. And, thank you so much for jumping on here, you guys. Michael's got a day job. I got a day job. We like to keep these action-packed at 30 minutes. How does anybody reach out to you guys to find out more about what you got going on, though?
Michael@highway.com. Info we're easy to find, man. Hit me on LinkedIn. Hit me anywhere. Call Chris. He's got my info. I'm easy to get.
Perfect, man. If you guys can't find them out there for some reason, like he said, hit me up. I will gladly put you guys in contact with Highway. But that is going to be it for today, ladies and gentlemen. As always, if you got value in what you heard and you're not subscribed, subscribe to the show, you guys. And if you're feeling ambitious, rank it on iTunes and Spotify, because if you see value, your network's going to see it as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.